Okay, here we go. Oh, yeah. Here we go.
In crew today. Honestly, I don't even know who's on the lineup today because the weather that's been going across the country has a lot of people frozen in or frozen out. And people in the South tend to act in a way that is, and I use this term, functionally retarded in the ice. It's really, really rough. I mean, I've seen a few accidents that absolutely shouldn't have happened. I don't even understand how they happened. How did that car get, that's a completely empty car? How did it get over there? So are you guys staying safe? How's the weather where you are? And should we leave Minneapolis to the Somalis? That's my question for you because what's going on with ice right now? Look, a lot took place over the weekend. I'm going to be clear with you. This is not as clear-cut as Renee Good. But there have been a lot of narratives, dueling narratives that are frankly incorrect. People don't really know what they're talking about. They're not taking the time to wait and do their due diligence. And I will say this, there have been some members of this administration that have definitely fumbled here. So we're going to go through this today, this recent one with Mr. Preddy, however it's pronounced. And obviously it's tragic. It would be better if this man was still alive. But we do need to start figuring out, okay, how do we want to move forward here? Who has the stomach for it? And I do think there have been some missteps. I think a lot of people out there don't know that you can self-deport and get $2,600 right now. So I'm going to issue I believe it's a 4-point plan on how we should deal with immigration. What I think we should do, and you can let me know if you think that I'm wrong, but I will say this, deport any and all illegals, especially them pedophiles. Here's a quick spot on with the show.
And there I was, laying in this.
Right?
Yeah, I'm actually.
How is it helping?
That doesn't
Go upfront fees and see how much you.
Glad to be with you. I see all the leering faces.
Why leer?
I feel like I'm in a room filled with grown-ups who were hoping for a snow day.
We already had 2.
They asked me, I was like, hey, do you want to run? We pre-tape the Nash Wednesday with Jake the Rattlesnake. That'll go up at some point. Like,
Yeah.
I said, like, no, I'll turn on the camera and I'll just do my thing like I used to if I have to. Because you guys may not know, is I have a surgery that I have to do in the spring, and I don't want to do it on my summer break. So I'm like, I can't take that many sick days, so I'll do it. And then you guys all showed up. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. But there's no bonus in it for you.
Oh, come on.
Just the
Ridiculous.
ice.
The bonus is being here.
Yes.
I want an ice bonus.
No one can take that. Well, you can write yourself a bonus, Mr.
Yeah.
CEO. Captain Morgan, CEO, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. Your gate froze. So you got frozen in.
I had to do some work.
Yeah, this was
Get
not
out.
supposed to be this long, and now it's going to be going into tomorrow. So we're in the Southwest. Where are you guys? What's the weather like for you? So it's just a few people here in the office today.
Yeah. If you're not a driving, and it's not the worst, but it's all the people who don't. We have no infrastructure for this.
We really
Texas
don't
at all.
Abbott said that by the way, he's a wheelchair guy. He said that we have a lot more. We have a much more stable infrastructure than last time.
Oh, well, for electricity, yes. But you tell him to take that wheelchair on the ice and see what happens.
Yeah,
buddy, when you
I know.
don't salt it or put some sand down or plow it. Come on.
He puts snow tires on it.
I get he put some chains around his wheelchair tires. Sounds like the ghost of Marley. So, anyways, we're here. It's 11 a.m. on a weekday. It'll be a little more relaxed. We'll probably be taking some more chat from you, but I want to talk about Minnesota. Obviously, I was watching this unfold this weekend, and none of this is good. And I think that everyone could be handling it better. But I want to be clear. That's not a cop out. Like some people are saying, well, this is bad. We have to stop the deportations. Absolutely not.
More.
We need to up them. But I think there's a way that we can do it where the American public won't be swayed by these extremists who want to martyr themselves. Let's be clear. That's what's going on.
Yeah.
Before we get to that, just because we still need to have some fun, here's some footage of a bodyguard for an Egyptian businessman who, well, it's making the rounds. And so it begs the question, and I will say it's on the line, natty or not?
Definitely skips leg day.
It looks like Javier Mendez from American Kickboxing Academy. That looks like Carl Parisian. So, of course, the answer is not natural. But I will say not just steroid, but steroid use, but synthol. Are you guys aware of this? Synthol? Synthol is something that you can actually inject. That doesn't make you any stronger. It just makes the muscle look stupid.
It looks really, it doesn't look strong at all, in fact.
As a matter of fact, it just adds it's oil that irritates it. So you get irritation, hypertrophy, but it's not real. So it's useless. So it makes you less mobile. The old myth of being muscle bound if you lift weights, that's not really true. But this guy actually is achieving it. I don't know how he's a bodyguard.
Whatever. It just gets in the way of bullets.
Yeah, pretty much. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it does help.
Maybe
There you go.
synthol absorbs impact.
Yeah.
It could.
Who knows?
Who knows? But I do know that this is actually just another in a long line of Egyptians and how jacked they've looked throughout history. So look, they do have the genetics.
I love how a mummy still has tissue.
Yes. Yeah. That's the last thing to leave you is your gains, bro.
After 3,000 years. These are 3,000-year gains.
This is the problem too with the social media. Everything is about the appearance.
Yeah.
Everything is about the look, and people don't want to put in the work. And you have so many fitness influencers out there. Look, young men, don't be fooled by this. No. People will say, hey, follow my program, follow my supplement program. They don't want to tell you about the synthol they're injecting, the steroids they're taking.
The hammer they take to their face to get microabrasions.
Yes. Well, my face builds back stronger.
It does.
When I hit it with a hammer, which is why I assumed that you did that while I was taking a nap earlier. I woke up and he
trying
was
to help you.
He was smacking me like he was an elf, like he was a Keebler elf.
I was like one of my kids with a rock working up you over the head.
Your kid does try and kill me. We'll get to ICE in a little bit. Oh, by the way, I forgot about this. This was after being detained and released by ICE. This is a resident of St. Paul, Nazra Ahmed. I'm trying to remember what this clip is. Again, it's a skeleton crew. Let me see the clip.
I'm from Minnesota.
Oh, right.
I also grew up in Columbus, Ohio, but I also grew up here, and I was also raised here. I was raised in both cities. Both are well-known Somali communities.
That looks like Myron Gaines and a vending machine. A racist caricature of a Japanese man / vending machine behind her. What's the over-under on the fact that some man gave her a fresh one? That's why she has that bruise. But let's continue. By the way, I want you to keep in mind what's most important. Rice and bananas. Let's go.
So I'm Somali. I'm proud to be Somali. To me, being Somali isn't just eating bananas with rice. It's,
okay, what is it then?
Lot. It's like,
yeah.
It's an interesting thing. It's
sure.
It's very hard to describe what it means to be Somali.
Well, try it.
And what it means to be American.
Okay.
But it's like a cultural fusion. It's kind of like the bananas and rice.
Well, yeah, but it's not just that.
People don't really see it's people don't think, oh, you can eat bananas with rice.
I do.
That's what it's like to be Somali and American. It's like that combination of banana and rice.
Right,
but you're gonna get what I mean.
So, wait a second. Bananas and rice. No, she's an idiot. That's pretty much just what we're. Yeah.
Yeah. Just Just an idiot.
I don't know why she's like, she seems like she's cracked the code. Like, I know lots of people think you can't eat both a banana and rice. No, we do. We're quite aware that bananas and rice, these are foods.
Yes, that can be eaten.
That can be eaten. You can eat them together, or novel approach, you could eat them separately. But
Or that's all you could eat.
yeah, that is all, you could probably live off of bananas and rice. I mean, you know, after a while, you wouldn't be the fastest thing on four legs. I don't know how many bathroom trips. You'd be blocked up.
There's a lot of carbs and fiber. Yeah.
I don't think you should do it.
What is this woman trying to? Why is she an ambassador of any kind? Like, I don't understand when someone says, like, I know, look, it goes beyond the thing that I'm going to repeat 9 times along with saying nothing else. Well, then how about you just walk up, say bananas and rice, bananas and rice, bananas and rice, and I married my brother. Walk off. That's it. Be done with it.
In true Somali fashion. Did you see the guy behind the Japanese guy? I don't know which
could
one
be Korean, could be we don't know.
The Asian gentleman, the Oriental.
Yeah, head like a Coke machine.
By the end, he looks like Baymax from Big Hero.
Yes, he does.
His face just gets progressively, that frown gets lower and lower. How does she goes through the bananas and rice? He's like, oh, this make no sense.
Wait, here's the beginning of the clip. Oh, he's still pretty sad there.
And then
I saw the head, the frown come in. He's like, "Oh, this is."
By the way, those glasses are way too small for that head. Do you see? You can see the angle of the glasses. Look, show the glasses. The what do you call them? The arms of the glasses. Yeah, they're going out like those things. I'm amazed that guy doesn't have a giant Korean headache.
They're holding on for dear life. Yeah.
Poor guy.
Anyway, the point is, we're not really getting the best and the brightest from the Twin Cities these days. Let's go to this really quick. And by the way, the best way to stay in touch, download the Rumble app and follow me there because you don't want to be beholden to the big tech overlords and their algorithms. Here's sort of the point in history where we find ourselves. Everyone knows that we have to do something about illegal immigration, about illegal aliens. People, by and large, agree with that. And across pretty much all races, you see more men who support deportation than women, but there's no surprise there. So we know that something has to be done, but people haven't really thought through what that looks like. And unfortunately, this sort of toxic empathy has been used against us. There are plenty of countries across the world, and I think that many Americans don't know this. You are jailed. You're put in jail if you are known to be an illegal alien. Did you guys know that? Not to mention legal immigrants in plenty of other countries, they are not afforded the same rights as immigrants are afforded here. They aren't afforded the same rights as citizens in their countries. For example, in Mexico, you can't show up at a protest. You can't own waterfront property, though, if you grease the right palms, because it's Mexico. It's corrupt. We all know that. We have been very, very relaxed here in the United States, and it's become a problem. We need to do something about it. Okay, what does that look like? And the people who are protesting and obstructing, they don't have any answers. And that, to me, is very telling. I'm going to walk you through. Just yesterday, a YouGov poll showed that a significant portion of people believe that illegal immigration is a serious problem. 62% among white people, 52% among black. It's still 50% among Hispanics. And then it's 60% of men, 56% of women overall. Okay. So we know something needs to be done. And we also saw those polls not that long ago where people supported deporting folks who are here illegally. Got it. So what has been the left's game plan? This was the winningest issue of the election. They have been caught flat-footed. And now, of course, the goalposts have moved. I'll tell you exactly what it is that they do. They lie. Okay? They lie and obfuscate. They'll tell you that illegal immigrants are more law-abiding than legal citizens. That's not true. They will tell you that illegal immigration isn't a problem. That's not true. They'll tell you that Joe Biden or Barack Obama deported more illegal immigrants than Donald Trump. That's not true. So they lie, obfuscate. Then step 2 is they'll obstruct. They'll impede officers from doing their jobs. Then step 3 is increase aggression. They will increase aggressivity as needed so that they can reach the final step, which is make martyrs, either of themselves or of useful pawns. I am going to propose to you what I think needs to be done or what should have been done from the outset. I completely support deporting illegal aliens and not just violent criminals, though they should get priority. There should be a State of the Union address. There should be an address from the White House, Donald Trump. He should have done this in the outset and said, look, we're going to give everyone 1 month, okay, illegal aliens. So the first step, we're going to give you all 1 month to sell your stuff in your house, get your affairs in order. And everyone out there, this is, by the way, still available, but a lot of people don't know it. Everyone out there who's here illegally, you can self-deport if you don't have a criminal record on the CBP One app. Okay, you can go there, you can register, you can self-deport. The civil penalties will be wiped. We'll pay for your flight, $2,600. That is what is available right now, $2,600, and you can attempt to come back through the legal channels as everyone else. Okay? They should have said that on the outset to make sure that everybody knows. The reason I say this is because I have walked through this. You can go to the Change My Minds. I've had conversations with people where they will say, well, I agree, we need to do something. We need to do something, but it just doesn't look good. Okay, so we need to do something about this. You just don't like the way we're going about it. You can walk people down this path. Try this in real life. Go, okay, so let's think what that might look like. Like maybe the first shot could be, hey, you guys, I get that you're scared. Self-deport, here's an app where you can do it. There'll be no civil penalties, and we'll pay for your flight, maybe even give you $1,000 or a couple $1,000. You can come back through the legal way. Every single time I've said that, people have either said, sure, that's reasonable, or even leftists have said, well, we're not even necessarily, you don't have to give them like money, but yeah, just make it easy. Okay, great, we're doing that. So what do we do with the people who don't? What do we do with the people who are not self-deporting? They have all been notified. Here's the issue. Those who are here illegally know about this. A lot of the American people don't. And those in Antifa, those who act as professional agitators, they are banking on you not knowing. So this administration needs to do State of the Union address the nation. All right, here are the terms, the CBP One app, $2,600 for anyone who registers self-deports. We're going to give everybody 1 month now, every illegal alien in this country, 1 month to get your affairs in order, do it. And during that period of time, we are only going to go after the illegal aliens in prisons, okay? So we're not going to go after anyone in the street, but we are going to go into the federal and state prisons where they're housing illegal aliens, and we're going to deport them first. The reason that's important is you arrest any governor or mayor who doesn't allow you to go into the prisons to deport people. That's important so that the American public understands. It's not about anchor babies. It's not about dreamers. A lot of Americans right now don't know that ICE is not being allowed in prisons to deport people who are violent felons. That's the first thing you do, because it lays the groundwork for the next. After 1 month, now we're going after everyone who is not self-deported, and we are going to arrest any governor or mayor who is still trying to play the sanctuary city game. Okay? 1 month, self-deport, $2,600. We're just going into the prisons. Anyone who stops us from deporting prisoners who are here illegally, arrested. After 1 month, we're going after everyone who remains with a priority on criminals, and we are arresting anyone who flagrantly disregards federal law. You'll still have protesters, but the American public will know where we all stand. Does that make sense? Comment below if you think that's a reasonable plan. That needs to be the backdrop. That needs to be the context in which everyone views incidents like Renee Good or what just happened this weekend. We're going to walk through these facts. We'll make the references available for you, links in the description, even though it's a skeleton crew today. This man, Alex Preddy, was 37 years old. You've probably seen this, was shot and killed after a confrontation with ICE officers. Okay. We now know that he had a gun on him. Sure, that's not illegal. You absolutely have the right to carry a gun, especially if you're a lawful permit holder. I support constitutional carry. I know that's not where we are right now. That is not the issue at hand. To be clear, he was resisting arrest. That is an issue. He was impeding officers before that. That is an issue. These people actually went, meaning this man and two women in question, actually crossed the street to harass, arguably assault ICE officers. The key takeaway here is all of this is completely avoidable. We still don't have one example of people standing on the sidewalk, filming, protesting, not impeding, doing what we know as civil protest, taking part in that. We still don't have a single example of that, and then being shot or physically abused. We've not seen one yet. This is likely the first video that you saw, and the video that people like Tim Walz and Mayor Fry are hoping is the only one that you've seen. Here's the first one that was released. So there you go. Looks like an ICE officer pushing a lady. This guy comes in. It's Alex Preddy. So you will hear the gunshots for those who are squeamish, but there's nothing graphic.
Honestly.
Okay. So if you watch that, people go, oh my gosh, they just roughed some people up and then executed somebody. That looks really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. It's a game of time codes. And we're actually going to illustrate this tomorrow. Where we'll shoot a sketch and prove the point to you. We'll shoot a simulation. So we'll show you a clip where you can watch them. Well, clearly person A is guilty. Then we'll extend it. You'll go, well, clearly person B is guilty. Then you go, oh, wait, clearly person C is guilty. And then you'll go, oh, none of this is real. I know this because I've worked in media. I know what they do. That's the first one you saw. Now let's pull back. A little more context. The people around Preddy were clearly not only instigating, were clearly not only obstructing ICE, but they were going out of their way to cross the street and accost ICE. And these people had been doing it all day long. Here's the next clip. Remember, you were told they were on that sidewalk. Nope, they're across the street, going to the ICE agent, blowing their whistle. There's Preddy. Filming, there he is in the street, waving traffic through.
Go.
There he is in the middle of the street. How long has he been doing this all day? Well, we'll get some more context.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Now, there's Alex grabbing one of his friends in a headlock. Don't fully understand that. That lady gets pushed. He goes to grab her. Okay. And now when they grab him, he obviously resists arrest. He is refusing to go down. He is trying to get up. We now know that this man had a firearm on him. And then you see everything obviously escalating. That's a horrible situation. It's a quagmire. It's a melee. A lot of confusion. Now, the reason that matters is because the goalposts were moved from, this is a man who was simply filming on the sidelines. ICE officers ran across the street to push a random lady, and he was a good Samaritan. Well, you know that's not true. So now the conversation is centered around, okay, there are ICE officers on him. He had a firearm in his holster, SIG P320 with a threaded barrel. And someone took the gun out of the holster. So people are saying, well, the gun was taken off of him. He was disarmed before he was shot. Therefore, it's an execution. Here's a slowed down clip. And you tell me if you actually believe for a second that everyone involved in this sticky, dirty, confusing situation would have known that this gun was removed from this man. Let's watch this. So here you go. See that man apparently right there in the gray jacket. Grabs the gun. He notices it. I see the other guy right there in the green jacket sees the gun. He's looking. His sunglasses, he's not sure. Someone yells, gun, gun, gun. We don't know where the first shot was fired at this point. And there's a reverse shot, too, where he's reaching.
When that guy in the back gets up is when he has the firearm pulled out. So it's even later.
He pulls it out. There's some discussion now because it's one of those SIG P320s that may or may not have a tendency to go off on its own. It could be a negligent discharge. It could be an accidental discharge. We don't know. It could be that we don't know which firearm it fired the first round.
Yeah.
What we do know is that as he's being disarmed, someone yells, gun, gun. This could very easily be someone seeing him take the gun, go, gun, 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 saying he's got the gun, but someone hears the word gun. If you look in a split second, you see a holster and you hear gun, you can assume that there's a gun. Yeah. We also see that the other man is grabbing something. Could be a phone, could be a magazine. We don't know.
Yeah, it looks weird. You can look where Alex's hand is at that moment in the slowed down video when they say gun and the first shot is fired. If you're looking at him trying to subdue him here and then your eye pans back, he's reaching to his hip or his hand is around that side.
Yeah.
It very clearly looks like a situation where you have identified that there's a gun, there's a shot that's been fired. The officers are doing what they're trained to do and backing, trying to get distance so that they can assess and fire on the suspect if he has a gun. And they fire, thinking he has a gun and it's just been shot at us. Thank God it didn't hit us. That's their mind.
Well, here's really the threshold that's going to need to be met. You don't need to prove that you acted correctly, 100% correctly. What you need to prove is that these officers acted reasonably. Meaning, was there a reasonable concern that an armed man who was resisting arrest, who had a gun on him, could pose a threat if you hear the words gun yelled out and you hear a shot. I absolutely think that that threshold will be met.
Mm-hmm.
The one man who removed the gun, if he discharged it, could be and should be charged with a negligent discharge. That's not the same as murder.
No.
That's what started off the chain reaction. This is unfortunate, yes. Was this handled ideally? No. But if you are going to make the case that these officers did not handle this well, you would certainly have to grant that the man in question, Preddy, deliberately went out and instigated and handled this equally poorly. There's no good to come of this situation, to be clear. And I do the blame rests squarely with the governor, with the mayor, who have instigated this, who have vilified ICE, who, by the way, have said these ICE agents aren't trained. We'll get to that. These ICE, they're not new recruits. One of them has been in there for 8 years. I believe the other one for 10 years. We'll get to that. There's no way that this situation doesn't escalate, and it's exactly what they want. And even more than that, we know that there are people out there hunting ICE agents. So Cam Higbee, who's been doing some great work lately, he infiltrated a signal group where ICE watchers, as they're referred to, they specifically organized to impede federal officers. I know this because this happened in Utah when we did it with Antifa. Ben Shapiro was speaking, and they handed one of my producers an ice pick and a taser, and they were going back to their trunks to get sawed-off shotguns. We got into their application, and this is how many of them organized. Back then, it wasn't Signal, it was something else. So if you look at this group, it exists to find ICE officers in the middle of doing their job and impede and obstruct them and make it difficult. Some of the members in there include, by the way, some Minnesota administration members or officials. This hasn't been confirmed, but there certainly seems to be some inside information here that makes it pretty easy for them to target ICE.
It's very organized, too. This isn't just a bunch of random people that want to go out and protest, and it's like this Signal thing. It's got a set number of people that can be in there. I think about 1,000 people with different designations based on an emoji, essentially, on what they're going to do, different zones that people can be in, and then also auto-deleting functions to make sure that they can't get this information and get it out. Obviously, Cam getting it is phenomenal. But this is not just random protesters. There seems to be a lot more going on here.
This is organized criminality, to be clear. These ICE agents are not just dealing with deporting illegal aliens and random protesters. They are dealing with an organized crime ring. I hope you guys understand that. Does that change the context? An organized crime ring. And then you'll see the proposals, and I see this on CNN, and they go, well, we definitely can unmask ICE agents and demand transparency. You think that's a good idea when you see this? You know these people and their families will be targeted.
Killed.
There is no doubt. They will be killed.
They will be killed. They'll be lynched without a trial. That's exactly what people want on the left. They want these, hey, why aren't their names out there? It's the Tim guy that you debated, the puka shell guy. I forget his last name, Tim.
The Bulwark guy.
Yeah. He was out
Miller?
there. Yeah, Tim Miller. Tim Miller's like, yeah, why aren't their names? We know that their names are out there. I'm like, what do you want them to just be shot in the streets? You know they aren't going to get a fair trial. People aren't going to ask them what actually happened. People don't care if they saw a gun or heard a gun firing and tried to defend their own lives. They're just going to kill them. That's what's going to happen.
Well, I can tell you this. Obviously, Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and obviously we've had a lot of close calls. I can tell you how on edge we are if we're doing a Change My Mind going on campus. I can only imagine the volatility of being an ICE member.
Yeah.
You absolutely are a target for violence, to be clear. There's no doubt about that. And so I think that the feds should absolutely investigate this criminal ring. Maybe they can even use RICO. They should be able to build a criminal case, and everyone involved should be arrested and should be brought to trial. President Trump posted this on Truth this morning. This is good news. He's a friend of the show. I hope we have him on this week. He said, I am sending Tom Homan to Minnesota tonight. He has not been involved in that area, but knows and likes many of the people there. Tom is tough but fair and will respond directly to me, will report to me separately. A major investigation is going on with respect to the massive $20 billion plus welfare fraud that has taken place in Minnesota and is at least partially responsible for the violent organized protests going on in the streets. Additionally, the DOJ and Congress are looking at Congresswoman, quotes, Ilhan Omar, who left Somalia with nothing and is now reportedly worth more than $44 million. Time will tell all. Thank you for your attention.
I love how he just mentions random. By the way, the number her wealth is going up. It was in the 30-something million range last time.
It was 25 million and 30, but
Yeah.
he probably
Maybe-
knows something that we
Maybe
don't.
her portfolio is appreciating. I have no idea.
Maybe it could be. I don't know. She could be getting some hot tips from her brother/husband.
Brother, husband, yeah.
This is right now. I still think that we need to wait for information, obviously, but this was a quagmire. I think the only correct take is this was a quagmire, but was completely avoidable from the standpoint of those obstructing ICE, of those committing crimes, multiple crimes committed before this happened. And that's exactly what the left wants. The left wants martyrs.
Yeah.
And it's very important that President Trump brought up the fraud taking place in Minnesota. Because, boy, has the attention been taken off of that.
Yeah, no kidding. And I think partly they would like it to be taken off of that. There's a
course.
number of officials that definitely want that. Really, the correct take here, too, is that nobody was being murdered in the streets. Hasn't happened. There are two situations where judgment calls had to be made to protect lives because people didn't understand that there are consequences to their actions when dealing with federal officers. And I think these guys were DHS, technically, and not ICE.
Right.
Doesn't matter. They're there to do the same job, right? People don't understand the consequences of doing this. When people's lives are on the line, you're like, I'm just yelling. They don't know that. You've got to.
You are at zero risk.
Like they don't know.
ICE, DHS, not only right now, cozy in your house, or if you're at your office, but if you are driving through the Twin Cities right now and you happen to find yourself at an impasse where there are ICE agents, you are still at no risk. Do you understand that? You just go, oh, wait, sorry, I'm going to work. Officer, what's the best place for me? What's the best thing for me to do? You tell me. They'll go, hey, please get out of here.
All right.
Great. Now, that's not saying be a bootlicker, back all blue. What I'm saying is nobody is at risk. Nobody has been at risk. Nobody has been harmed who has not been actively involved in obstructing, in impeding, or rioting. It hasn't happened. It doesn't mean that it was a good shoot. It doesn't mean that this situation is one that's easy to sort of parse. It doesn't mean that, but it is really straightforward. Don't impede, don't obstruct, don't break the law. Don't try and undo the vote of the American people who did vote for this. Don't screw around with law enforcement for no justifiable reason, and you'll probably be okay.
Lives a fucking around up in Minnesota, and now they're finding out because they're doing it for too long.
We're going to cause good trouble.
Now, this brings us to bad takes or bad communication on the right.
Yeah.
No surprise here, Kash Patel.
He leads the way.
He's not very good at his job.
He's first at sucking at this.
I would say he's bad at his job.
Yes.
At this point. And his statement here that you have no right to bring a loaded weapon to a protest, that is factually inaccurate, and it's the wrong take.
No, I mean, thousands of people are marching through Minneapolis. They are targeting the Border Patrol. I mean, it feels like the rhetoric and the protesting is only ramping up. What is your advice to the people right now who are outraged that this is a second killing at the hands of Border Patrol in 2 weeks?
As Christy said, you cannot bring a firearm loaded with multiple magazines to any sort of protest that you want. It's that simple.
Wrong.
You don't have that right to break the law and incite violence. We will, of course, always protect your First Amendment speech. And if you peacefully protest, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But you have seen a trend here, not just in Minnesota, but across the country in these protests turning into violent scenarios and people attacking law enforcement. That's when you go over the line, and that's when law enforcement steps in.
Yeah, that's just wrong on just multiple levels. By the way, tune in weekdays, 11 a.m. Eastern. That's when we're live. If you're watching this as a clip, live, engage with us, and we take chats from you. We still actually do live shows. I'll get to Steve Miller, too, what he wrote. He said that a would-be assassin tried to murder federal law enforcement, and the official Democrat account sides with the terrorists. Okay, that's also not good because people look at it and they don't see a would-be assassin. If you oversell it, then it makes it really easy for people to say that you're lying.
Yeah.
First off, Kash, you're wrong. You can, of course, bring a loaded firearm to protest. As a matter of fact, I guarantee you there are plenty of conservatives in the Twin Cities right now who are armed because they're concerned about the rioters. We'll get to them trying to storm a hotel in a little bit. Would-be assassin. Then you better have some pretty clear documentation to show that this guy is a would-be assassin. Here's what they could have done. Say, look, Of course, this is an unfortunate situation, and it wouldn't be this way if we weren't dealing with a sanctuary city, a sanctuary state, if we weren't dealing with the escalation from Tim Walz, anything to take the attention off of the rampant fraud from his constituents, by the way, who he enabled and abetted. This is a man who came out who had a firearm on him and was impeding and obstructing law enforcement for a long period that day. And if you are legally carrying, of course, you all know that it is very important, especially in a scenario like this, a high-pressure situation where tensions are high, where tensions are elevated, to be responsible, disclose it to the officers, and work with them as best you can. If you say that, people wouldn't go, well, he was a lawful carrier. People wouldn't go, well, he certainly didn't bring out his gun and threaten the officers.
Yeah.
It's like they didn't have a team huddle.
Yeah, well, he's saying, like Kristi Noem said, so I don't know if she was the originator of the stupidest statement I've heard on the Second Amendment ever or what, but you can't bring a loaded firearm to a protest?
Right.
I didn't think that was a part of it. You should have corrected it.
See, right now on CNN, it's breaking news, which is not breaking.
Yeah, this is
video contradicts DHS account. Let's see what Noem says.
Semi-automatic handgun.
That's not what video shows. It shows federal agents approach Pretty. All he has in his hand is a cell phone, not a gun.
That's actually...
Then you see him moving one protester away from agents while agents shove another to the ground.
See, the
As
start
he tries
point?
to help the protester
They just did it in real time.
Agents deploy pepper spray. 3 wrestle him to the ground. More join in. From another angle, you see one agent punching him in the face with a canister of pepper spray in his hand. Pretty is on the ground under them. Nothing appears in his hands. You can see an officer in a gray jacket walk into frame.
This is the other angle here.
Seconds later, agents shout, "He's got a gun." One agent removes a gun from Pretty's belt. He steps away from the scene carrying a firearm seen here in his right hand.
Yep,
Turns
that's it
out,
right there.
state authorities say Pretty has a license to legally carry a gun, but you never see him draw it. Instead, an agent draws his gun while standing above Pretty.
Look at that wonderful hit job from the media right there. All right, we can bring down CNN. See how I just showed you? They say, they protested Pretty. No. They were the ones who approached. They approached Pretty. No. Pretty was protesting. Pretty approached. Those women absolutely went out of their way to cross the street and arguably commit assault against the officers with whistles in the ears. That was going on for a long time. They don't show that part. If you were to watch that, you would assume that he was standing there on the sidewalk with his phone. But you give them an in if you imply that he brandished a weapon.
Right.
And I don't like the language of he had a semi-automatic handgun with... It's irrelevant.
Yeah.
The man was obstructing ICE for a long period of... And so were these women, and he had a firearm on him, didn't disclose it, and violently resisted arrest. And we'd really like to avoid these situations. So we would ask everyone, please, you can protest. Stay where you're allowed to protest on sidewalks. Don't block roadways. Don't target ICE. Don't commit assault against officers of ICE because no one who has avoided doing those things has been harmed by ICE in any way. There are no examples of that yet. They're just not good at communication.
No, and they're playing right into the left's narrative because they want to frame these people as the Gestapo. And it's like, oh, see what they're doing? They're lying to the American public, telling you that he brandished a weapon and that he couldn't have it at the... I thought these guys were Second Amendment. They give them every opening in the world. And listen, whoever gave Kristi Noem that information should be fired. Kristi Noem, theoretically, I'm okay with her being forced to resign. If somebody comes up to you and gives you that information, you should immediately go... We have a Second Amendment. What are you talking about? He couldn't have a firearm there.
Exactly.
Kash Patel, what is he?
I don't think they've thought of these issues.
Kash Patel should go, wait a minute, Kristi Noem. You're wrong. He has a Second Amendment right to have a firearm there. Yeah. Nobody along the chain thought that.
You have a Second Amendment right to carry a firearm. You do not have any protected right to obstruct federal law enforcement.
Correct.
You do not have any constitutional right to blow loud emergency whistles in the face of federal officers who are carrying out a job. You have no right to do those things. This has nothing to do with the Second Amendment right. And if you are carrying, first off, you should really, really be treading carefully if you are carrying and there's law enforcement around. Anyone out there, comment below. You ever been pulled over while carrying? You keep your hands at 10 and 2. As soon as they go, hey, officer, I just want to let you know that I do have a concealed carry permit and I do have a firearm on my person, or you tell them where it is in the car. sometimes they'll say, hey, could you please tell me where it is? 9 times out of 10, they go, thank you for letting me know. Don't touch it. Just please grab your license and registration.
Yep.
That's pretty much been the experience of everyone here. Wouldn't dream of carrying an officer come up to my window and go, why are you pulling me over, asshole? And jerking and reaching for my, like, I'm grabbing a tissue. No, I wouldn't do that. We need to be able to delineate between what it is that's permissible and what is not. And I just don't think that Kash Patel and Noam, I don't think they are conservatives like you are.
No.
Everyone I speak with agrees. Everything we're saying here, this is not outside of the mainstream. I don't think Kash Patel is a Second Amendment guy the way you are. I think Kristi Noem is probably like one of those old fuds who has some hunting guns, but doesn't really understand it. They need better communicators. I really hope that Tom Homan does some press. I would love to have him here on the show. And here's something else too. Hey, if this is a volatile situation, do you think that guaranteeing law enforcement gets less sleep? Do you think that's going to help? Because that's what's been going on. They tried to do it with Vance, but they messed up and they got the wrong hotel. But these violent rioters have been attacking the hotel where they suspected that ICE officers were staying, and they have been doing this nonstop. This is what these people are dealing with. By the way, if you don't do this, you won't be at risk. And you know what? Pause really quickly. Let's say there's a handful of ICE agents in there. What about the guy or the woman who's in town for a business conference, just getting some work done and needs to catch a flight the next day, needs to get some sleep? Maybe someone who's up for a big promotion and has a big presentation the next day. Think he deserves this?
They don't care about that.
They don't care about any of their fellow Americans. That's the thing. That's why they have an ICE tracking, an ICE watching app. What about the rest of people? What about the people who want to get some sleep? What about people who want to live in streets where there is law and order? If you think that whole Home 2 Suites is filled with only ICE agents, they may not even be there depending on the night because they're smarter than these guys. These protesters don't care. And do you think they would care about the collateral damage if they broke a window and some woman had to go get stitches? They don't care. These people don't care. This is an organized criminal ring. Let's continue.
I wonder if the police responded to Home 2 Suites calling the police on it.
No.
Say, hey,
right. Yeah, it doesn't seem like they are.
Destroying our sign.
Right. This is the problem, is a collusion taking place from the left. You want to say Gestapo? How about the police not showing up to protect the business?
Right.
That's being ransacked. Yeah, I think that's pretty corrupt. Let's keep watching.
Are you pressed?
I'm documenting.
Then back up. Back up now. Back up.
And the media will go, militarized. Well, what do you think happens if they're not there at the entrance? What do you think happens?
Get him out of here. Get him back.
Think there are any other apartments nearby or hotels where disrupting the peace may affect their sleep?
Where's the SWAT team?
Yeah. Now, see, to avoid more situations that could escalate, I think that they should pepper spray those people. Pepper ball grenade right away. Are you guys staying at the hotel? No? That's what I would like to see.
Yeah.
You got to start it right on the outset. You got to set the tone, boys. You got to set the tone. What do you think happens if those people aren't there standing guard? Hey, do you think maybe they misidentify someone in the halls who they think could be ICE? Do you think that it's more likely or less likely that an innocent person just staying there could be harmed? No one talks about this. We just talk about the flashpoint, where something goes wrong, and granted, plenty of things go wrong. How about the escalation to that point? Because none of this happens with a governor who follows federal law and a mayor.
Yeah.
None of it happens. Instead, Governor Walz decided to bring in his guard to pass out donuts and hot chocolate. I really think that the guards should all be federalized at this point, but here you go.
It's almost Valentine's Day. We get a shot of those, though. There we go.
Thank you all.
Let's see how it goes. I'm surprised that crispy one on the end hasn't been taken yet, but this flies.
We're just here helping out criminals.
Yeah, where were you on this? And maybe we'll have a clip of this later, but one of the guys at the hotel at the front there, you saw two of them at one point, but then it becomes one, and he's bleeding out of his mouth, has to pull down his mask a couple times to spit out blood. He's got blood on his hands, whether his hands are injured or not. I couldn't really tell. He's basically saying, like, where are the cops? And he's there by himself, basically trying to defend this. But here's the thing. You said misidentifying. Really clearly written on his chest is Bureau of Prisons.
Right.
Not even an ICE officer. I have no idea what his function was there. But at the same time, those guys apparently were in the building. There's a lot of details that we don't really know yet. But either way, nobody was there. It's the clearest picture. One guy protecting the entrance from everybody. No help from the cops at all.
You know what would be great, too? Arrest a handful of, certainly the most violent disruptors. Arrest them and get their interrogation out as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Where you ask them, like, so, what is your opinion on ICE? What do you think we should do with illegal aliens? What is your opinion on ICE going into Minnesota prisons and deporting them? What is your opinion on the Department of Corrections? You will find out very quickly that these people are Marxists who don't believe in any deportations, who believe in open borders, and who believe that all prisoners are political prisoners. They are anti-cop, they are anti-federal law enforcement, they are anti-America, and they no doubt are socialists. You will find that out pretty quickly. And so then people can go, oh, I get it. They're not just stopping what they see as an injustice. They want to tear the whole system down while blaming you for not trusting your institutions. And here's a take. You see this quite a bit. Libertarian take. Dave Smith wrote, I absolutely disagree. And it's incumbent upon people who bitch about things to give an answer. I've not heard them give answers. He wrote, I'm an immigration restrictionist. I believe that we have the right to remove any and all people who entered our country illegally. Great. Also, ICE is out of fucking control. A bunch of pussies drunk on power going around intentionally escalating violent interactions and intimidating U.S. citizens. By sleeping at home 2 suites? That's playing into the left's game and just picking their crescendo. Not everything else that led up to it. Are they doing that when they're sleeping? They create these tragic situations, and after this gigantic show of force, they won't deport a fraction of the illegals who entered under Biden. This is simply not worth it. Well, that's also one of those things, that black pilling, that nothing works. I mean, the border is effectively fixed, right? Right now, the border crossings are down to a statistical, basically 0 compared to Biden. That's a big thing. And yes, there are about 2 or 3 times the amount of self-deportations than there are from actual ICE. So here's the thing. Okay, so they haven't done enough. All right? So they need to do more. Dave, or people like Dave, how do they do it? How do they do it going into cities that are sanctuary cities? How do they do it going into sanctuary states? How do they do it when there are ICE Watcher apps out there? How do they do it when their hotels are being ransacked? How do they do it? So it's not enough. They're not deporting enough people, but they're drunk on power, escalating violent situations. So let me ask, how do you deport someone who has refused to self-deport and collect $2,600 in free flights in Pasco? How do you collect those people and deport them without it escalating? And then how would you do it so much more that it would be worth it to you, Dave Smith, so that it's significant enough because, Biden let a lot in? This is one of those examples of it's really easy to just be a critic and offer no solutions whatsoever. Again, I'll repeat mine. Let the entire American public know. An address from the White House. Self-deport, you guys have 1 month, $2,600, CBP One app. We are only going to go after, during that month, prisons, actual prisons, and deport every single illegal alien in prison. We'll arrest anyone who obstructs that. After 1 month, we're coming for everybody, and we're arresting anyone who impedes federal officers, including mayors with sanctuaries. The way they're doing it is dicks. How do you think you deport someone who doesn't want to be here? I don't understand, especially people who are fathers. What do you do if your child is acting out and you tell them to stop and they say no? How do you deal with that without it escalating? And I don't mean beating them. I mean giving them a timeout, taking a toy away, escalating the consequences. That's how it has to go.
Yeah.
But if you complain that both, not enough is being done, and we can't escalate, what you really mean is you want to be the intellectual on the sidelines who bitches about everything and offers no solutions, because I haven't heard them.
No solutions. And also he's misdiagnosing what's going on. These guys aren't running around drunk on power, Dave. They're running around with their heads on a swivel because they're being hunted by people. Now, it may be a nuisance to you, but they don't know when the next brick is going to fly at their head or when a protester is going to show up with a weapon, as some of the people who took to social media said that they should do after this shooting. They're out there with no support from local cops. And they're out there with people like the Mayor Fry and also Governor Walz saying, you should get out in the streets. You should impede these guys. You should blow whistles. You should make their lives difficult. You should go out there and be Minnesotans.
Yeah.
That's what's happening, you idiot.
By the way, this is also what happens. The Indiana Pacers guard Tyrese Halliburton wrote that Alex Preddy was murdered. That has 22 million views. I wonder if he posted the obstructing and directing traffic in the streets toward ICE all day. And then Natalie Portman, this is kind of funny because people on the left are saying she's a Zionist, so she can't be trusted. But she delivered this word salad, a little bit more articulate than bananas and rice, but was wearing an ICE out pin. Let's hear this brilliant young lady communicate her thoughts.
You are wearing your ICE out and Be Good pins today. So I just wanted to see if there's anything that you wanted to say about why you chose to wear those.
Well, this is obviously such a joyful community celebrating film here, and we're so excited to be showing The Gallerist here. But we're also at a moment in our country's history that is quite devastating.
Is it?
And I think it's really... It's impossible not to.
I didn't expect you to ask me about my
what
pins.
is happening right now and the brutality of ICE and how it has to stop immediately.
Brutality.
And also the
Great. So how do we deport
beautiful
people?
Community that Americans are showing right now, showing up for each other, protecting each other,
Destroying hotels,
fighting for their freedom. But it's a very it's a
take 'em in?
bittersweet moment to celebrate something we're so proud of, on a backdrop of our nation really in pain.
Yeah, she's an idiot. But after spending some time on the street post-interview, she did develop a different perspective.
Where is this love? I can't see it. I can't touch it. I can't feel it.
That's because they're all high and committing assault. And so I say this, people in this country still believe that. This person pretty much
eaten to the, which is just not the case. There definitely have been rapists and pedophiles that have been snatched up in all of this.
Many.
And those rapists and pedophiles that have been caught and taken away, that's good. They shouldn't be out there breathing the free air. Great.
Pause.
But that's not...
Yeah, but the left doesn't say that's good because they protect them and they won't even let us go into the prisons to take out those people. They have sanctuary cities, they have sanctuary states, which precludes any federal law enforcement from taking anyone out. And you have seen protesters blockade and protect sex traffickers, pedophiles, human traffickers. Let's continue.
All that's happening here. You could also right now march into the White House and arrest everyone in the White House, and you would get a ton of rapists and pedophiles. Why isn't that happening? If the goal is getting rapists and pedophiles off of American soil, thrown in the slammer, taking them away from society, why is it only just walking through the fucking streets of Minnesota trying to do it?
It's not
you
only.
would get significantly more rapists and pedophiles if you took ICE and brought them to the White House. And an administration is actively covering up a massive child sex trafficking operation and letting tons of evil people get away with this, tons of clients. So if the goal is to get this kind of evil out of this country, why would you not start with what is provably a spot that has so many of them? Also, that belief of like a secret pedophile ring was a very popular one among Trump voters for the longest time. And now that it has been proven beyond a shadow of a doubt to be real, legitimate reality, they are now just ignoring it. They have been proven correct that there was a huge pedophile ring of these powerful politicians, but because some of their favorite politicians are potentially wrapped up in it, they just want to drop it and forget about it. Absolutely unhinged, by the way.
Okay, so there's no actual substantiation, no references that he's provided whatsoever for his claims. I don't know if you know this, anywhere from 12 to 20 million illegal aliens under Biden alone. If you were to go through the entire West Wing White House, you'd get a few hundred people, assuming that every single one is a child rapist or pedophile. So that matters. Then we also look at the numbers, okay, of the millions of people who are here illegally, illegal aliens, and I'll provide all the references. They're 1.5 to 5.5 times more likely to be incarcerated than lawful citizens. Now, I know people say, well, aliens or immigrants are more law-abiding. No. You're obfuscating there. You're trying to say that legal immigrants are more law-abiding than people who are born here. That may or may not be true. The truth is it's very difficult to study the numbers as it relates to illegal aliens because we don't know how many there are. We do know, based on the capture rate, based on the processing rate, 1.5 to 5.5 times more likely to be incarcerated than lawful citizens, illegal aliens as a demographic. And to be clear, 100% of people who cross the border illegally, they have committed a crime. Let's also go through this. Hey, here's another reason, because illegal aliens cost the taxpayers $150 billion to $451 billion a year. Again, it's pretty hard to estimate because they don't necessarily sign the guest book on the way in. I know this number very well at the back of my hand because it used to be $118 billion a year when I went through the Build the Wall. Living in sanctuary cities. And by the way, legal immigrants who are here, and even some other illegal immigrants, by the way, who are here and still have to live under the rule of violent gangs. We saw that with Aurora. We saw that, by the way, when we are... It's not even true for people who cross this border illegally if they aren't human traffickers, because they are very likely being brought here by human traffickers. For every person you see making a bed, working as a maid, working on your lawn, guess what? There could be 10, 20 more who were good looking enough or perhaps desirable enough that they just were put through that system. They went through the sieve, and you're going to be a human blow up doll now. Usually minors, thousands who disappeared under Biden's watch. Remember that? So you have to decide where you start off with. And invariably, if you ask these people, they actually won't have a solution. Well, sure, it'd be great to get rid of rapists and pedophiles. Great. So you would support arresting any of the governors here who don't let us go into the prisons to get them. Well, I don't know. Well, hold on a second. You said it'd be a good thing to get rid of the criminals. So what do we do with California, Illinois, Minnesota, New Jersey, New York, Oregon, Washington? By the way, California and New York, most populated states. What do we do there? Can't go into the prisons. There are no solutions. These people don't believe in deportations. They don't. They don't believe in actually enforcing our immigration laws. I will give it to you one more time. My proposed solution: address the nation. We're going to give you guys 1 month to get your affairs in order. You can register in the CBP One app, all civil infractions, fines. We're just going to wipe that clean. Here's $2,600. That's what you can get right now. You can do it right now if you're here illegally. Leave, come back through the legal way. We're only going for the prisons. Anyone obstructing, we arrest you, including mayors and governors. After that 1 month, we're going after everybody here illegally, and anyone obstructing, including governors or mayors, you will be arrested. And we will invoke the Insurrection Act, and we will federalize the Guard wherever appropriate. You guys let me know what I'm missing, where I'm getting this wrong. Here's the next narrative that we're dealing with right now. And I think before we get to Rumble Premium, if you are not a member, you can click that button right there. Join up. It's $99 annually, or you can try it for $9 a month. None of this happens. The free show goes away if you guys don't sign up, but you get 100% more show. You get everything ad free, and you get, more content than you could watch in a lifetime under Rumble Premium. It's your best one-stop shop. If not, let us earn your viewership tomorrow. And outside of that, illegal immigration reached us. Basically, those who are meant to IRSing for this and that did earn. Smith.
Order in this state.
All right, here's the first claim that you're going to see. ICE agents right now are completely untrained and unqualified. And then, of course, we'll get to the truth.
We believe in law and order in this state. We believe in peace. And we believe that Donald Trump needs to pull these 3,000 untrained agents out of Minnesota before they kill another
Go
person.
pull a horse.
And we're up here.